What is happening, fishers, and welcome to 2025, all new exciting Tackle Tuesday. So this evening, for all of you guys, we are going to run through spinning reel sizes. The biggest question us at Untraceable Fishing and the guys at Bulmoria Fishing Tackle were asked over December, why do some reels sizes differ, particularly Daiwa BG 8000 versus maybe a Shimano 8000? So tonight we're going to give you a quick, nice breakdown of how to compare the different brands of fishing tackle. So Dean from Untraceable Fishing here tonight with Jared from Bulmoria Fishing Tackle, and welcome to
Tackle Tuesdays.
So anyway, guys, let's get things going. You'll see a big variety of reels. Jared, you want to shout out some of the brands we've got on the table here this evening?
So we've got some Penns here. We'll have the Slammers, the Battles. We might have some Spin Fishers here. We've got some of the Shimanos. We've got of the Daiwas. We've got quite a wide variety here.
Okay, so guys, so for those of you that into the world of sizing, obviously spinning reels come in vast variety of sizes, starting down. You even get smaller than this, but the smallest we've got on the table tonight is 1,000. And grab the biggest boy we got there.
Right up to the big boy, the 10.5.
The 10.5. So we can explain the difference. How do you get from a size 1,000 to 10,500, or maybe a 25,000 to 30,000 now for you shortly.
Depending on your breeds and what you're wanting.
Okay. So first of all, guys, on the lighter side of things, we're going to start with what I like to classify. Please just bear with me. These are absolute guidelines. I'm not saying these are the reels you need to use for things. These are the guidelines I would follow personally angling. But obviously, when it comes to what size reel you want, it all depends on angler preference.
Yeah, depends on what you're doing and depends on what you're happy with.
Okay, so guys, so what I classify as ultralight is anything from a 500 size reel, which I don't even have on the table, they're really small, up to maybe a 2,000 or 2,500. So for instance, that's 1,000 size there, and that's a 2,500 size there, guys. So those type of reels will be for your ultralight lure fishing, maybe some bass fishing, and then also your super light estuary fishing. And there are some guys out there that are taking these onto the bricks and scratching and doing some little jigging and things like that for the lighter species.
Yeah, your ultimate light tackle for your smaller blacktail and blues and stuff, just in between the gullies.
Yeah, 100%. So guys, like reels in this type of class, you're looking for braid 12 pounds and under, maybe 10-pound braid, 8-pound braid. So it is really ultralight stuff, but they come in a huge selection of reels. When it comes to reels these size, guys, there's no real difference between the brands. Their 1000s and 2000s are very similar in sizes. Then moving on from there, we get to the 3,000 and 4,000 light spinning reels. So these you can pretty much use for estuary fishing or very light lure fishing, maybe off the surf.
Like your 10-foot setup or your heavier 9-foot setup, spinning rubber mouths, that sort of purpose.
And what braid? Maybe like 20-pound braid?
Fish like a 15, 20-pound braid for those sort of setups, yeah.
Okay, so guys, if we look at this, we got obviously the little, I think it's a little 3,000 there.
Yeah, little.
And then the battle little 4,000.
Yeah. That's
okay,
sort of
sorry, also 3,000, my apologies.
Yeah, that's sort of your two sizings that you'd look at.
Okay, we're just going to run through all the sizes, guys, and then we're going to do the comparisons between the different companies. Then we're going to look onto what I like to call as medium spinning. So reels, you pretty much either your drop shot guys, so throwing jig heads and stuff for cob and garrick and stuff like that, or the guys doing lighter scratching, some bluefish, some Kalyun, blacktails, things like that.
Yeah,
so,
your gully stuff.
So we're looking at 5,000 and 6,000 size reels, guys. So I don't know if you want to grab a 6,000 of any size, pretty much a 5. There's not normally too much difference between the two.
Yeah, so
they're very normally similar in size.
Yeah, so that'll be a 5,000 Stratic. That's a 6,000 Saragossa.
And this we're also looking at maybe fishing 15 to 20-pound braid on a reel of that size.
Yeah.
Some guys do beef it up to 30-pound if they're scratching, doing some heavier scratching. Moving on from there, heavier spinning reels. These are pretty much your
standard like bait fishing reels.
Yes, we're going to start bait fishing properly here. So you're looking at 8,000 and 10,000 size reels, and then also heavier spinning if you are throwing, if you're chasing some larger game fish on plugs and things like that. These are the sort of size reels you're going to use.
Yeah.
So I'm going to grab an 8, and Jared's going to grab a 10,000.
So that'll be that.
Very similar size reels, just the spool configuration changes slightly. Then moving on from there, these size reels are going to take care of most of your edible fishing if you're fishing with bait, even your bigger edibles. Moving on from there, we're going to start venturing into
your medium range non-eds and your heavier edible
reels. So we're looking at size, like what we classify as a normal standard range, size 14 14,000 size reels, guys.
Yeah. So I'll give this to Dean.
Here we go. There's a 14. That's obviously the Penn is a bit different, but we'll explain that to you just now.
Yeah. So that'll be a 7,500 slammer. This will be a 14,000 size Saragossa.
Okay, guys, and then obviously we get to the heavy non-edge stuff. And if you guys are doing extreme lure fishing, like if they're chasing big GTs, or the guys maybe chasing some sailfish, marlin, and things like that on spinning reels, some tuna.
The boat fishing purposes,
offshore stuff, yeah.
Your offshore stuff, or your heavier non-edge, when you know you're going to be fishing your heavier braids, your heavier rods.
Yeah, so yeah, we're looking at pretty much, you're going to be fishing 50-pound upwards braid on reels like this. So we're looking at the 18,000 size, standard size reels, guys. Obviously the Penn does differ. We will explain that to you shortly. Yeah. Then moving up from that, we look up to the 20,000s. I think we only got a ghost of 20,000 on the table there.
Yeah. So that'll
comes to 20,000. And then the real extreme end of it, we're looking at our 25,000 size reels, or in the Penn, the 10,500. As Jared picked up earlier, some really, really big boys, guys. We're going to hold well over 600 meters of 50-pound braid on reels of size.
This is the sort of setup where you're going to basically lock and hold, targeting your really, really large non-edge when needed. As we said, it's not something everybody will fish with in this sort of size range. It depends on your preference and what sort of setup you've got.
Very species specific on reels that size.
Yeah, generally your big fish.
Yeah. Okay, guys, now to unconfuse the confusing part. So different manufacturers have different ways of the sizing of the reels. So Shimano, Daiwa, besides the BG, Akuma, and most of your other brands out there use the same sizing, guys. Quite a universal standard. Yeah. Where we're looking at 1,000, 2,500. I'm just going to run through the sizes here quickly for you guys. 3,000 would be that size. 4,000, 5,000. Sorry, 5,000, 6,000. My apologies.
Then it'll be your 8,000s and your 10,000s there. Then on this side, it would be like your 14,000, your 18,000s as we mentioned, and then
20s and 25s.
From there, your 20 and your 25.
Okay, so that takes care of Shimano, Akuma for most of their reels, and Daiwa. But Daiwa threw a bit of a spanner in the works a couple of years ago, when in 2016, when they brought out the Daiwa BG. They decided they're going to change the numbering system, not to confuse us. It's just something they thought would work well for them. So if you are looking at the Daiwa BGs, just be cautious. So I haven't brought the smaller Daiwa BGs out because they pretty much fall in line. Yeah. But anything from a 4,500 upwards, guys, is a different kettle of fish. So a 4,500 Daiwa BG would pretty much be the equivalent of an 8,000 plus minus 8,000 in your Shimanos and Akumas and things like that.
Your 5,000 would also be about the same thing. Bearing in mind, the 4,500 to the 5,000, the biggest difference is that the 5,000 just got your biggest spool capacity. Your main body is very much the same.
So your 5,000, we're pretty much looking at an equivalent of about a 10,000 size reel, guys. Yeah. And then they move on to their 6,500.
That's sort of the in-betweener, not quite on your heavier non-edge. That would be like your 14,000 size roughly. Correct. In your Shimano. That would be like your medium purpose. And then on your big range, it would be your 8,000. So this would equate to like your 20,000 sizes in like a Shimano, just as a reference.
Okay, guys, so that takes care of the Daiwa. Most Daiwa's other range of reels, their lineups fall in the same as the Daiwa. It's the same as the Shimano and the Akuma. Also, when it comes to Penn have got their own numbering system as well. Their smaller reels from 1,000 up to a 3,000 fall beautifully in line with it. When it gets to their, I'll show you for instance, that is their little 4,000 battle. It's pretty much the same, not too much difference between the battle, the Penn and the Shimano. Their 5,000 pretty much falls quite nicely in line. A little bit bigger than a normal 5,000. Yeah. But when it gets to their 6,000, there's a bit more beef on it.
Yeah, it's a reel where it's almost a little bit bigger than most of your other brands. So your 6,000 size in like your Battle or your Fierce would almost compare to like your 8,000 or 10,000 in your Shimano.
And then they move on from that. The next size up in the Battle is the 8,000.
The next size up in the Battle, yes, is the 8,000. So it is a significant jump in main body size. You'll see there. So the 8000 will then be your heavier purpose setup.
Equivalent to maybe a 14 or 18,000 in between them of a,
Yeah,
of
roughly.
a Shimano.
Various line capacities differentiating.
Okay, so guys, so that takes care of Shimano's, Penn Battle. Now moving on to another Penn brand, their Slammers. Their Slammers also have a slightly different numbering system. Their Slammers and the new authorities, their top tier reels, they have a slightly different numbering system for them. Also, when it gets to their 4500, it's pretty much the equivalent to about a 5,000 in your other reels.
Yeah.
Their 5500,
it's that in between.
Yeah, so you're looking at about an 8,000 as compared to a Shimano.
Your 6500,
you're looking at
like a 10,000.
About a 10,000, correct? They move on from there to their 7,500.
That'll be like your 14,000 size in your Shimano, is your standard sizing.
Then we're moving on to their,
they've got the
8500.
Yeah, the 8500. That'll be like your 20,000s in your other brands. And then on the high end spectrum, they'll have a 9500 and a 10.5. So that'll be your big boy comparing to your 25s and upwards.
Up to a 30,000
yeah,
maybe.
30,000 in certain brands.
So guys, that gives you a nice overlay of the different sizes of different reels. So obviously, Shimano, Akuma, and Daiwa, besides the BG, all fall in line nicely. Penn, just remember, Penn have their own numbering system. So what we have done, and we will insert this into the video, we're going to put a nice little spreadsheet I have done for you guys. So this will be available at the end of the video, and you can pause it. So if you are looking at buying any of these makes of reels, it's going to give you a nice breakdown. Pretty much what you'd use a reel for, the thousands for ultralight fishing, if it's lure fishing, if it was for estuary fishing, pretty much the pound braid I would suggest you use on that reel. Yeah. Obviously, it's just a guideline. If you are going for game fish, you might use an 8,000 size reel. You might want to put 50 or 60 pound on it. You only need 200 or 300 meters. So we give you a nice breakdown just to make your shopping experience when you want to buy a new reel a little bit more pleasurable for you guys. So I hope this has given you a nice quick overview. So what we're going to do next week, Jared and I and Andrew are going to put our heads together after tonight, and we're going to decide what size rods we would
like pair for your different applications and your different reels.
So it's just going to give you a nice breakdown just to make your shopping experience a little bit easier and a little bit more accessible. So you know if you're buying the right thing. Don't forget, if there are any questions, please hit us up in the comments section below, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. So anyway, from Jared from Bulmoria Fishing Tackle, and Dean from Untraceable Fishing, and Andrew behind the scenes, cheers.
Cheers.